I always look at the wrong spot. You're gonna. Okay, here we ready? Hey, welcome back to our vlog. Today we are going to show you our homeschool room. Something we get asked, like seriously, if I could count how many messages I get every week, it's a lot. So we're gonna show you, give you a tour.
I was about to say something and then I didn't.
Okay, so we're gonna show you a tour of our homeschool room, what it looks like, go through our curriculum and all the commonly asked questions we get. We're gonna try to make this short and sweet, but we really want it to be efficient because I get a lot of questions. So let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to our home. This is our classroom. And let's not talk about the wall colors. We're renting, you guys, and someday I dream of a beautiful homeschool room. But we like it for now. It's very functional and it works. So let's do a quick overview very quickly. Start with how we have everything stored. Obviously, this is very Mod Podge. We don't have a ton of bookcases, so the kids actually helped me organize it, and they made little identifiers of where things go so we can keep it clean and organized. Let's talk about what's on our walls right here. We are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and there are 13 core values, I guess is what you could call them, things we believe in. So the kids learn those as part of our curriculum. These are just cute little things for them to understand money. We've got some maps on the wall. So behind this door is a globe. We also have a real globe. And we also have a United States map, and just that it's felt, which is kind of fun. There's some things we can put on it. This is their computer, if they have computer work. And in here are some more things we can store. And obviously a whiteboard, and these are some things that Greg is working with them on learning their times tables, so they do some drills every day and some due dates. She loves the due dates.
Here, tell us about the due dates. Do you love them?
No, it's actually terrible and very
I like the due
scary.
dates.
You like the due dates? We're gonna talk about that later, like just in the difference in each of the kids' learning styles and why we actually like homeschool a lot for that, because they're all very different. Kira hates due dates, Colette thrives on competitions, and Sydney is like determined, like she likes to do whatever. So there's just a lot of different styles of learning. Over here, these are some vision boards that they made last year. We actually need to update them. So the kids love those, and you guys have gotten pretty good at that, huh? So we obviously have a piano. I play the piano. They did have lessons for a while from our sweet homeschool helper that we don't have anymore. So we do need to get them back in lessons, but this was a gift from my parents, so it goes wherever we go. Obviously we're renting, you guys. This is our storage space for the baby stuff. Over here, more kid stuff, just to keep it organized. We've got kid stuff, piano stuff, school supplies, binders, and workbooks. And so I'm gonna pull these out and kind of show you how we organize like their workflow for the day and kind of go through curriculum. So here are their binders. They actually, it's cute. They like find pictures or coloring stuff. She's got Jesus on hers. So these, they each have their own binder, and you can see that we have different tabs for different subjects. So we've got a spelling tab, a writing tab, a math tab, Book of Mormon. That is another additional Bible, if you will, for our religion. We believe in the Book of Mormon and the Bible. So we study the Book of Mormon. And then they have like journals, journal paper for when we want to do journal stuff. Okay, so here's Luke's. It's really just about him learning letters and identifying them and learning to write them. Same with like numbers and stuff. So that's what Luke's looks like. The girls all have the same subjects, just different grades. So as far as curriculum, that's probably the most asked question that I get, and we use a lot of allinoneHomeschool.com. It's called Easy Peasy. And do you know what? Let me actually pull it up on the computer. Okay, so All-in-One Homeschool or easypeasy.com, or sorry, Easy Peasy All-in-One Homeschool is allinoneHomeschool.com, so if you want to check it out for yourself. We found this and I fell in love because it's Christian based, which is important to us. And then I also feel that it's very age appropriate. I personally feel like we have put way too much on little children's plates, and we kind of are pushing them further than their brains are actually developmentally ready. So this is actually very age appropriate in my opinion, and why I love it is it actually has all the levels from preschool all the way through high school, and you can click on it. So here's like first grade, and what's awesome, it has all the core subjects already laid out for you and what you need to do every single day. So my kids can see, okay, on day one, I need to, for reading, I need to do this and this and this and this. For math, I need to do this. For English, I need to do this. And they know when they're done because they've completed all that. It's not me yelling at them, telling them what they need to do. They know what they need to do to be done for the day. We'll talk about what we use for reading because we do use a different reading curriculum, but we do love it for the math and for, it has computer work and paperwork and English and stuff like that. So on the side, there's also additional subjects that you can use. So individual courses, they've got art, drawing and painting, Bible, computer, foreign languages, history, language arts. It has all of the core subjects right there too. So you can see all that, music, science, we've used their zoology, stuff like that. So that's what we use for the majority of our curriculum. We're gonna talk later about some other things we do with curriculum, but that is definitely something I get asked about a lot. So in their binders, their paperwork will tell them what day they're on. So let's go to right here. So language arts, and it will actually show them, like you'll see day 29. So if they turn it and it's day 39, they know that their day 30 through 38 is on the computer. So it's awesome, it's labeled for them, days 1 through day 180. So that's kind of like an overview of our classroom, how we have it put together, the curriculum, and then now we're gonna go and me and my husband are both gonna sit down and we're gonna go over our most commonly asked questions, most fears or objections people have to homeschool, and so we'll go do that now. Okay guys, we're back. So we kicked the kids outside. So good parents do. Actually, that actually leads me into something that's actually one thing I love about homeschool is our kids get to play. I think that's something kids are not getting enough time now. And so our kids are very much outdoorsy kids. We're really struggling with the winter. That's a whole other story, but they're outside playing right now, so that's good. So one of the things we do encourage is physical activity. It helps a lot with their ADD or anxiety or mood for the day, specifically Kira. So we're gonna talk a little bit really quickly about what led us to homeschooling, because I get asked a lot about like why, and I think a lot of people just think you're hippie or that you are paranoid of the government or that you hate teachers, and that's not the truth. Okay, so for us it was very personal. Kira did go to public school for kindergarten. Her teacher was amazing. We have no objections to how the school handled Kira as far as they did their best. The teacher was seriously incredible. She did her best. She had 30 children. She can't give Kira the one-on-one attention that Kira really needed, and Kira kind of struggles socially. She has Asperger's, which is on the autism spectrum. I think they don't even recognize it anymore as Asperger's. Basically, it just means social awkwardness. They struggle reading body language. And a lot of times people look at the labels and make it worse than it is. Honestly, she's the most genuine person I've ever met. She's very cut and dry. She's very, it is what it is. She doesn't get weird about things that a lot of normal socially people take as awkward. Like everything's just very fact or not to her. But at school, it actually made her social struggles worse. And one of the biggest concerns we hear from people is, well, aren't you worried about your kids? They're gonna be weird.
They're gonna be weird.
And
Social or homeschool kids are weird. So, and I always tell people, for every weird homeschool person there is out there, I'll show you 10 weird public school people. And we're public schooled and we understand all that stuff too, but
It's really just a misconception.
Yeah, it is. It's just a stereotype.
And we're going to talk about how we know that it is. And what that comes down to as far as social skills is the social skills of the parents. If you're very reclusive, if you're very introverted, if you don't like to talk to people, if you like to stay in your home, that's what your kids will like to do. I clearly am not, I'm not that way.
I'm more of a home body,
He is.
so luckily Jalen pulls me out of the house. Otherwise, we might have some social issues.
But the social skills for Kira actually got worse in the public setting because the bullying already started. She had a girl that was super cute to her, and that girl's friend didn't like that and would literally physically poke Kira, which then frustrated Kira. She has a hard time communicating and expressing her feelings, and so a lot of times they resulted in fits in the classroom, which led to a lot of embarrassment for her because she does realize it's not normal, and that's where it's frustrating. She would actually look at going to the principal's office like a vacation. So
the rest of us, if we went to the principal's office, it was big punishment, but she thought it was great.
It was, for her, it was good. It isolated her from the incident. Like I said, that was kind of our experience, and like I said, the public school, they did the best they could. I don't fault them at all for how things happen. That's kind of the nature of the beast. Bullying, we know that exists, and I hear a lot of, well, you're just sheltering your children, and I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I don't believe in throwing our children to the wolves before they even know how to defend themselves from the wolves. And so I call BS on that argument because I don't know about you, but 5-year-olds a lot of times socially don't know what's appropriate and what's not. And there's one adult and 30 children. So I don't necessarily think it's a good thing that my 5-year-old is learning what's
Right.
appropriate from other 5-year-olds.
Like, we all know the 5-year-olds are coming home, or any age. They're learning a lot of stuff from school, and you have to reteach them when they get home. So it's almost better for us because we can teach them now and prepare them, and then when they run into inappropriate behavior, they're able to identify that, and we see that in restaurants a lot because our kids do very well in restaurants and
or any public setting.
Yeah,
we
any
actually get
public setting.
complimented a lot on our children's behavior in a public setting. And I think a lot of it, like he's saying, is we're able to correct what is appropriate and what's not because we're with them. And that was something we considered with Kira, was her social struggles amplified because they couldn't be corrected because she can't have that one-on-one attention. And so at home, we were able to walk her through things immediately when they happened versus 3 weeks later when we found out she went to the principal's office, which by then it was like, you can't even talk about that.
Yeah, and we were just behind the curve on that whole issue. So.
And then on the whole sheltering thing, we have some very big discussions with our kids. As you know, my husband was a police officer, and drugs was something he saw daily. And he saw the results of drugs, and he saw the results of certain lifestyles that aren't appropriate. And we're able to have those candid conversations, and it wasn't like a scary thing because it was, this is what dad sees, and this is why we don't do drugs, and this is what drugs do to your body, and this is why people who do drugs, a lot of times they end up on the streets or in jail. And we were able to talk about things that I think some people are scared to talk about. And our kids, it's very open. We have had the sex talk with our children. Our son was 4, he was not included.
We'll have to work on that later.
Yes, we did it very age appropriate, and it was very open, and it wasn't weird, and it wasn't gross. And we've had pornography talks with them. So I really don't believe in the sheltering part of what people think homeschool is, because that once again goes back to the parents. So you can have sheltered kids at public school and you just think they're learning correctly, and a lot of times they're hearing misguided information from their peers who are also misguided. So that's our opinion on the social aspect and the sheltering aspect of homeschool. Like I said, it really depends on you and how much you want to put into their social skills and teaching them appropriate behavior. So we really emphasize appropriate behavior in public, in private, no matter where you are, what's appropriate at church, what's appropriate at the grocery store, and we actually push them out of their comfort zone a lot. My 6-year-old, she's 6, 7, 7. 7, she's 7. It's going by so fast. She actually is so outgoing, you guys, like you would never guess ever she was homeschooled. In fact, if we go to like a hotel and we need an extra blanket, she's like, Mom, can I call and ask for an extra blanket? I'm like, dude, You couldn't pay me as a teenager to make those phone calls. Like,
When you
I
had
was
to bribe me
terrified.
as an adult to make that call.
So,
Because I
like,
don't want to talk to people. So
she loves it. So we actually push them to do things like go talk to the waiter. We make them order their own food. We have them pay for things at the grocery store. Like, so we really do push them socially as far as like understanding to talk clear. And another really good thing about homeschooling, I think, is our kids know how to socialize with children of other ages.
yeah, I think in public school, I don't think it's
not
I don't
intentional.
think they don't intentionally make kids only interact with
Segregated
only
by
kids.
age.
Yeah, but they naturally do that because every grade is
Separated.
kids by their age, and then everything is a competition kind of between other grades, and so it's always, for our kids, they can talk to all adults. They don't see age so much. So
And adults don't intimidate them. I don't know about you, but I was always scared of adults. And I think that came with the fact that we had a teacher. We always had a teacher who was in charge. And so I was always worried of getting in trouble, saying the wrong thing, being stupid. And our kids really don't have that. Like, they will talk to you like you're their age. So that's another misconception, is that children are awkward. And once again, awkwardness and social struggles aren't just in homeschool children. They exist everywhere. And that honestly has to do with personality traits. Like we said, Kira had social struggles. She still does. But you guys, if you could see how far she's come, oh my gosh.
yeah, if she was in the public school system, she would not even be close to where she is. And it's not because public school is completely bad. It's just because that setting would not have worked for her.
It didn't. And honestly, like, it actually really physically makes me sick because she already has a lot of negative self-talk. And she has said things that really break our hearts. And she's not around people to tell her that. So if she were around other children who are just vicious sometimes, like, it would absolutely break her. So for us, this has been very, very good. And another reason we started homeschooling was my husband at the time had a crazy schedule. He was gone Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yep, working
Tuesday through Friday.
swing shift. So by the time they'd be going to school when I would
Be sleeping.
and then they'd get home at the same time I leave, and so
Actually,
we would
after,
never see
you'd
them.
You'd be gone by the time they got home.
We would just never see them. So then we thought, well, that's just another reason to try homeschooling, and we did it, and it's it's been great.
And we had our hesitations too, but we did it because, like, I knew Kira would like self-implode if she didn't get her daddy. Kira and I have a lot in common. We're very stubborn, very headstrong. He's kind of the calm to the storm. So I knew that she would need him here to help, and so that was the biggest reason we pulled her out, was for family time. Our family time is very sacred to us, and we didn't want to sacrifice losing our family because everybody's in different directions and never having that quality family time.
Yeah, speaking of family time, today with homeschool too, or today with schooling, everyone's in so many extracurricular activities. Were you getting into this?
Yeah, that's great.
But everyone's in extracurricular activities. They go to school, they're in there for 6 hours, and then they come home, they have homework, and it seems like they do a ton of homework now. And then you have to go to dance or soccer or baseball or whatever.
Both, or
or whatever sport you're doing. And so there's just not a lot of family time. There's not a lot of time to work on even those sports and your homework and all of it. So this helps us be able to slow down a little bit, and we can get them into sports. We can work on, even for homeschool, we can work on those sports individually. And so that's worked out great for us.
It's really helped our family time, which leads us into the next thing. Is everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's gonna take all day. I'm not qualified because I have no idea how to teach my children. B, the time that's gonna take like all day. No, it doesn't, you guys. Like, if you do homeschool with your child, if you do homework with your child, you could homeschool your children. It takes literally just a couple hours. About 2 to 3 is what we average every single day of them
When they
actually
start to
working.
tune out after that point, I mean, even if you give them a break, and when they come back from the break, at the beginning we try to do longer hours, and it just doesn't work because they can zone in and work hard for about that 2 or 3 hours, and then after that their brains are fried. They're done. They need to do something different.
I've actually heard, I've not looked into it, but I've heard that scientifically you can only actually retain 2 hours worth of education anyway. And so their brains are fried after that, but we don't do recess. We literally sit down and like bust it all out. So 2 to 3 hours of hard work, and then we're done for the day. You're spending probably about that same amount of time on your kids' homework, and they're gone for 6 hours on top of that. And so it's not time consuming like people think. We don't have the transition times that it takes to do in a huge classroom setting. It's one person, they finish the subject, they move on to the next one.
And along that line, everyone always talks about, I know when I was in school and in band and stuff, they always pushed having private lessons because that's how you got really good at, for me, the trumpet. And I never did take private lessons and I was never very good at it, but they always wanted us to do private lessons because that's how you get better. Well, in this situation, in our homeschool, we have private lessons, yeah, because
like
we're teaching them, we're teaching them one-on-one or sometimes 1-on-3, which is much easier to deal with than having 1-on-30.
And just the transition time alone, like you said. So there's transition time, there's the advantage of them getting one-on-one time with us. And that leads into the, but I don't know everything, which I've got so much to say about that. First, did you not go to high school and elementary and all of that? And if you're scared that you don't remember that, doesn't that tell you something about the education system? Like you can't even remember. When's the last time you used the Pythagorean theorem?
What's that?
Exactly. So my whole point is like, you learn as you go. There's actually been things with Kira in her language arts right now. I'm like, go ask your dad. And then we're working through it together. We joke because I'm like, dude, I didn't understand that. And I learned that at one point. So it's actually not hard. You just get a refresher course and you learn as you're teaching them.
There's so many resources. I mean, you talked about some on the computer, but there's so many resources online.
You don't have to know it all.
Yeah, you don't have to know everything.
Especially as they get more advanced, there's online classes. There is,
once they get to high school math stuff, then
yeah, that's where it's like online.
Might change a little bit
you
for
can
me.
you can even get the curriculum, like we said, like you can literally order curriculum that tells you what to say word for word. So like if you are so scared you don't know what you're doing, just read what it tells you. But I promise you it's not as scary as you think. And like I said, you just get a refresher course on, what was the other one the other day? Like simile versus metaphor. I'm like, oh geez. Like I know what they are, but like to describe them, it took a little brain power to figure out.
Yep, and now it's funny, just you say that. We were just driving back the other day and Kira was pointing out there's a billboard that I was mocking.
Oh, it was At Home, the store At Home.
Oh, that's right. I was teasing her that the store At Home is not our home. I'm like, we're at home. And Kira's like, Dad, that's a metaphor. I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
I just taught you that. That's perfect.
So it just, you have to trust in yourself. You went to school, you're smarter than you're giving credit for, or it just shows you how crappy our education actually was. Either one. But you can learn it, I promise. Like you said, there's so many resources out there that you don't even have to do it on your own. If you don't even want to do it, you can find the resources on the internet, which is the beauty of the internet. If we had homeschooled 20 years ago, or 30 years ago now, I don't think we'd be homeschooling because that would be a lot of work, but we are so blessed with technology nowadays. So just trust that, okay? That also leads into the next thing that a lot of times I hear from people who want to homeschool is, but what if my kids don't stay up on par? What if I'm not able to teach them to where they should be on this day for this test? Okay, first, you need to make sure you check your state laws. It's different in every state. In Utah, it's very flexible. We don't have to do any testing, which I actually am all for that for several reasons. I have children who absolutely know content and would bomb every freaking test out there, okay? I have other children who could do what I did and cram for a test, take the test, ace it, and forget everything they crammed for. So I don't think tests are the best gauge of knowing that they know their stuff. So first, I don't believe in standardized testing. I don't think it's fair. And the reason I say that is we have a daughter who is behind in some areas and ahead in other areas. Actually, all of them are in certain places. And I don't think it's fair to box them in. And the best analogy I have for this is if we all learned at the same pace, all of our children would have walked at 9 months and 4 days and 3 hours. All of our children do not develop the same. They don't walk at the same time. They don't talk at the same time. And I think it's very unfair that we box them in and say at this age, on this month of this day, you are to take this and know this. And I don't think it's fair. So we don't believe in that. And that's the first thing I had to let go of was the pressure of I need to keep them on par with their grade. What the grade school is learning, P.S., get away from that. Like core subjects, absolutely. We do that with their grade
Which was
for the
really,
most part.
this concept was really hard for me, and I still sometimes struggle with it. But what always helps me is Kira didn't like reading when we tried to, because she's our oldest, and when we first started, we wanted her to be on par with what the public schools were doing, and so
And
we
she
were
was
kind
already
of pushing
falling
her.
behind in
Yeah,
kindergarten.
and she was absolutely not interested in reading at all.
Like it was to the point that we were fighting. Like literally, I was yelling, she was yelling. She never ended up reading. We would it ended in a fight every single day.
We ended up just letting go and was like, fine, and
She was in first grade at this point.
Yeah, then we just let her. We just decided to go with the subjects that she likes, and so it wasn't.
It was like
a few
3 months later.
Yeah, a few months later, she then developed an interest in reading,
And she
then
literally picked
she
up the
started
book
reading.
and read it fluently, where 3 months before, when we were pressing her every single day, she couldn't do it.
Yeah, so if we would have kept pushing her, I'll bet you she would still hate reading.
Oh, yeah.
But luckily we didn't, and she actually likes reading.
And
now.
it was really eye-opening for us to really understand the development thing that I was talking about. Like, she just developed later for certain subjects, and that's okay. So I think baby girl's probably getting done. So our whole point with that is you kind of got to let go of the standards of public school and realize that you're on a different playing field, and it's okay. So for instance, we do some subjects at second grade that aren't done until 4th, 5th, or 6th grade, because does it really matter when they learn their states? No.
Nope.
So the whole point of homeschooling for us is I want to raise respectful, kind, happy, responsible adults, okay? That's the whole point. And if it takes one of my kids longer to figure it out than the other, does it really matter?
And if they get behind in one subject, and we'll catch them up later when they have an interest for that subject. So. And
that's the biggest thing is if you've not looked in the Thomas Jefferson education model, I would look into that. I haven't read a lot, but that was a light bulb for me, where his whole philosophy is to, we're gonna have children coming in, but I'm just gonna keep going, is to instill a love of learning. We just kicked him back outside. Instill a love of learning from ages 4 to 8, kind of like self-guided. Let them research. If they ask you a question, say, I don't know, let's go figure it out, and show them how you can actually learn and love it. And then from 8 to 12, oh crap, what is it? Now I'm gonna botch it. Basically from 8 to 12, you start doing simple, basic things, but still kind of let it be very self-guided. And then from 12 to 16, they typically surpass their peers because you've already like really deep dived into them loving learning, which, hi, how many of us loved school? I graduated early because I hated it. So I didn't hate it. I actually just wanted to move on. And I felt like it was pointless my senior year to just take a bunch of frilly classes. So we just want to emphasize, like, don't be afraid of doing things out of the norm. You're already homeschooling, you're already out of the norm, okay? And it's okay. Something I really, really emphasize when they're young is life skills. Should we talk about public school and life skills? Pretty sure it's non-existent nowadays. A lot of kids go to college and don't even know how to cook. They don't know how to do their laundry. They don't even know what a bank statement is or how to balance a checkbook. They don't understand money. They don't understand budgeting. And that is not really okay
Basic
with
economics.
us. Yeah, so things that like we've learned not being in like the public forum of study and just running our own online businesses, like dude, we have learned so much. And so it's opened up our eyes to life skills and the importance thereof. So
we're gonna sprinkle that in.
We are,
and we already have.
We actually have done a lot of that. My 9-year-old knows how to cook anything. She makes the best brownies on the planet.
Yep.
Wait, she's 10. How old is she? You guys, why am I forgetting? She's 9. She'll turn 10 this year. I have to like do them all at the same time to figure out their ages. Yeah, she'll turn 10 this year, but she loved cooking from a very young age and wanted to cook, and we let her.
Yeah, we just let her go, and she wasted quite a bit of flour and stuff when she was first learning.
And you have to let them.
Cares?
That's the biggest thing, is you can't be a control freak either. You've got to let them learn, which means they
mess up. They mess up
botched the brownie recipe.
Try again next time. You show them where they messed up and do it again.
Yeah, so our kids know how to cook. they know how to do the laundry. They actually start the laundry at age 4. They do all of their laundry, and I sprinkle mine in, so I don't even have to do it, so they do my laundry too.
I don't trust him with mine.
He does his own.
I didn't trust her with mine.
It's true. Because I was just like, just wash it, get it done, and he was more particular. I'm like, whatever. So they do the laundry.
I just didn't want to wear pink underwear anymore.
They do the laundry. They know how to cook. They actually semi-understand money and income, because we talk about that with our jobs and stuff. And so life skills is something that I love about homeschooling. And yeah, so that is probably the most common questions that we get and objections and kind of our take on it. And obviously there's gonna be some haters out there.
Yep.
I don't care. You do you, we do us, and we will love our freedom. And guess what? That's what we're gonna talk about last. So we started this as a way to spend more time as a family, to help our daughter with social skills, and now it's completely morphed into we have legit, complete freedom. My husband is now no longer a police officer. It's the best thing ever. So we both work from home, online, which means
when school's done, we can go play as a family.
And we actually can do school anywhere. So if we want to go do school in the Bahamas,
as long as we have an internet connection, then that's what we do.
Yeah, that's all we need for life and for school and for our livelihood. And so for us, it went from let's see what this does with her social skills and see if this works for our family schedule, to we have so much freedom now that I don't know that I could put them in public school. And we've even asked them, do you want to go? And then they find out the public school schedule and they're like,
nope.
No, no, we don't. So anyway, I hope this helps you guys. Please let us know if you have any other questions. We do have a chore video that will be coming up probably next, because I do get asked that a lot. How do you get your kids to do chores? And we go and talk about that a lot.
Okay.
So that's it. Hopefully this helps you guys.
Yeah, if you have any other questions, let us know. Leave comments below, and then
make sure you like and subscribe, because then you can really get to know us and see more of what we do, because we can always do more behind the scenes of an actual school day and what it looks like.
Yep.
And all of that. So thanks for stopping by.
See you next time.